Hey everybody, it's Friday, and you know what that means. News of the week, news of the week, news of the week! Yes! I hope y'all have had a good week. I've had a good week. The weather was beautiful most of the week. Now it's supposed to rain for the next several days, which we're not complaining we need rain, but it's also Memorial Day weekend, so that's going to be interesting. Other than that, it's been a good week. I had some really exciting news that happened with my book this week, and I did a post about that earlier in the week, so you can check that out if you want to. But yeah, it's just been a good week. So I wanted to get to the news of the week now, because there is so much crap that goes on a daily basis these days. It's almost difficult to even keep up with it, and the absurdity of so much of it all piled up on top of each other is like just overwhelming. So let's start here. This week, the United States government, IRS, settled a lawsuit with the Trump family, or President Trump, for releasing his tax records when he was running for president. Now, every person who had ever run for president before had always voluntarily released their tax records for the American public to see. He chose not to do that, and someone released them anyway. So he sued for $10 billion. But he settled this week. This is parts of the settlement. A $1.8 billion with a B dollar fund was set aside as the Anti-Weaponization fund for people who have been weaponized by the American government. Basically, what everyone thinks is this is to reimburse the people who took part in January 6th. Awesome. Another interesting part of the settlement of the lawsuit, and this is the really even more, as part of the settlement of the lawsuit, the United States government and the IRS have agreed to forever bar the IRS for pursuing audits or tax claims to President Trump, his family, affiliated individuals, which I guess that means like Rudy Giuliani, the Trump Organization, and related business entities. I mean, it sounds like we just like basically gave all these people license to just go do whatever you want to and never have to worry about any kind of tax judgment or anything. Interesting. In other news, the head of the FBI, Kash Patel, visited Hawaii recently on official business. And after the official business was taken care of, he took part in a VIP scuba tour of the USS Arizona. Now, okay, that's wonderful. Only problem is, the USS Arizona is located at Pearl Harbor, where Americans were bombed by Japan. That USS Arizona has over 1,000 Navy and Marines entombed in that ship, sunk. at Pearl Harbor Day. But the head of the FBI thinks it is appropriate for him to scuba dive over their graves. These are the same people that had a problem with Obama wearing a tan suit. Now, in addition to Kash Patel, we have Sean Duffy and his wife Rachel, both famous for their days on The Real World on MTV, and their 9 children, who have been a part of the Great American Road Trip that filmed over 7 months' time. Now, it's a great idea, having a young family go out and visit all the national parks and the Statue of Liberty and all the stuff. You know, we're celebrating 250 years of America. This is a good thing. Now, there's just a couple of problems. Mr. Duffy and his wife, neither one of them were paid to participate, nor were their 9 children. Now, everything was paid for, but they did not receive a salary. However, the trip was paid for by Boeing, Toyota, United Airlines, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the Shell Corporation, General Motors, and others. Now, that's all well and good too, except when you realize that Mr. Duffy is the Secretary of the United States Transportation Department, who would have overriding authority over all of those companies that paid for his 7-month outing and road trip across America. Now, Mr. Duffy is paid $246,000 a year, but he also took a 7-month road trip. Mr. Duffy's predecessor was Pete Buttigieg. He was the transportation secretary in Joe Biden's administration. During his time in office, Mr. Buttigieg and his husband had 2 children. And Mr. Duffy was an outspoken critic of Mr. Buttigieg taking paternal leave when one of his children was in the neonatal intensive care unit. The hypocrisy is just incredible, isn't it? Finally, I just want to drop this for y'all to kind of start putting on your radar and start paying attention to. Blair House. Okay? For anybody who doesn't know, Blair House is a big, beautiful old mansion that sits just off of the White House property in Washington, D.C. It's where dignitaries stay when they come to visit the United States, and where the day before the inauguration of the next president, their family stays there. You've seen all the pictures of the incoming president and their family coming out of Blair House before they go to the inauguration. It's where Kamala Harris and her husband stayed when they first were elected vice president because of the second family's housing quarters were being redone. All these kind of things. Well, if you'll remember, President Trump had the West Wing of the White House completely demolished for a ballroom that he had paid for already with private money, but the United States Senate has budgeted $1 billion for a ballroom. Blair House. Put it on your radar and just watch. Blair House will be next. Just watch. And now let's have some good news. It's Memorial Day weekend, one of those important dates on our calendar every year where we honor the sacrifice of those people who went and made America what it is today. They brought the real greatness of America to us. And these are the days that we are reminded of their sacrifice and their family sacrifice to our nation. So we want to thank them, honor them, and celebrate them for all they've done for our country. Memorial Day is one of those that also kind of is the official or unofficial start to summer. That's always a good thing. It's usually when school gets out and kids go on their summer break. So that's awesome. And it's just one of those times when we all get together and have a great time on a 3-day weekend. But let's never forget the real reason that we have Memorial Day. It's for the people who went before us and made our nation truly great. Now, y'all go have a great weekend. Have a great Memorial Day. Honor those that we're honoring. And tell your mom and your daddy, your brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, and grandma and grandpa, I said hello. And y'all have a good picnic. Have some ribs for me. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.